Hey ya, got a new Vermont double IPA. It is Mastermind from Fiddlehead Brewing Company. And this is one of the less available IPAs from Fiddlehead, their second fiddle being very well known. And this is slightly different, I guess. And this year's batches have been varying in quality and character quite a bit, I heard. At first, they had some troubles banning some of this in May, and I heard that batch may have had some diacetyl, like fake butter flavor going on. This one I had a little taste of it, and I didn't notice that, but it didn't have the big tropical juicy flavor as advertised on their website that I was expecting. But I haven't had it in like a week, and this can, it's this June 24th canning, so now it's like 2.5 weeks old, so it's still quite fresh. But I want to take a closer look because I've only kind of had tastes and split it because it was my girlfriend's. I like the second fiddle double IPA quite a bit when I had it on tap recently, and but I really like their Bread on the Dance Floor, a really tropical Brett hoppy beer with almost no funk. I'm getting a little bit of smell out of this one already, but as I remember it being, it's got a lot of lemon and pine happening. It's super pale with a light haze, maybe a little bit more than a light haze. I can see my finger through there. Ooh, yeah, pretty big aroma. I mean, maybe it's slightly tropical, but I definitely get pine in there. But it seems like they may have mixed together hops like maybe they mixed some Citra Mosaic with Centennial in this batch that makes it a little bit different, but I definitely do not get any diacetyl or butter flavor. Usually if that's in there, it'll totally mess with maybe even the color and the fruity aroma and everything. And yeah, there's no buttered popcorn happening in this beer. It smells really nice, but it's a lot of citrus and a slight or kind of Cheerio malt, and just a little bit of pine, but not too much. Not like West Coast territory where it's all piney resins, smelling like pure wood. There's a little bit of pineapple in there, maybe some apricot, but sort of a unique lemon pineapple blend that I don't usually notice too much. But I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And the head is real firm, pure white, soapy. Yeah, it looks just like a really well-made double IPA. And it doesn't seem like the pine has changed much and gotten more earthy or sappy, which I'm happy about. It's still a really fresh, slightly grassy citrus aroma is what's overtaking this Mastermind, and looks super pale, like they like only use Pilsner malt or something like that. A little bit of sap and grain in there. That's a little slightly weird. Good amount of body and sweetness. Finishes off like with a lemon drop sort of flavor. Yeah, only slightly tropical. There's a little bit of a juicy pineapple orange sweetness I'm noticing, but also a little bit of a kind of a unfermented barley malt I'm noticing, oddly enough. The head is just looking still creamy and soapy and thick. It's a little bit of boozy heat, very, very low bitterness at this point, even though I kind of combine that sappy, citrusy hops with an intense bitterness, like a lot of classic West Coast double IPAs. I'm not getting out of this one. This is a pretty unique beer. I'm getting a mixture of kind of older fashioned hop aromas and flavors with the softer, slightly juicier New England take, which I like quite a bit. I'm not sure if I like this more than Second Fiddle. Second Fiddle was definitely more on the tropical side, but all IPAs do not need to be tropical. This actually sort of reminds me of, I think, the Fata Morgana, Omnipolo's double IPA. Perhaps that one actually does have Citra and Centennial. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they tweaked the hops a little bit this year. I'm not sure. but there's no like big flaws like diacetyl happening in here. Just a weird, kind of a slightly weird barley malt thing, but that might just be their style. And some pine, but it's very pleasant. I'm really glad it's not super boozy. The blues is just on the edge there. Kind of the pine sap is really bringing out a little bit of more booziness, but it's not as hot as some other double IPAs I've had recently. It's 8.1% alcohol and very, very drinkable, pretty refreshing, and not super, super dry, and with a pretty low bitterness. I like it, but don't wait in line 2 hours for this unless maybe some batches get so better, but waiting in line for more than an hour is really almost not worth it in my books, especially because there's lots of places where you can go and get beer at, in a short line, Vermont and Boston, everywhere. And this one I guess was distributed sort of widely. Maybe they'll keep doing this summer and I'll be able to snag another one up, because yeah, I feel like they're still kind of figuring out their batches. This one is good, but I feel like a few tweaks they can make it a little more world class. But I'll give an 80, 82. No, probably higher than that. I'll just give it like how about 80, 84 for the Fiddlehead Mastermind Double IPA. Good night.